Welcome to the Red Letters Podcast. In this podcast, we explore topics that can be life-transforming while delivering a message of hope. All right, welcome to this week's podcast. We're going to be talking about what do you want to be remembered for? We're all going to have a time where we go into eternity, and I guess it's very important to consider what do you want to be remembered for, because sometimes we don't think about that. Sometimes we just live our lives and just, don't really give thought on how much impact we're choosing to do with our life by the decisions we make, by the relationships we have, and how we conduct ourselves.
So I want to be remembered by that one oddball, that one rebel who decided to take the road less traveled by anyone that I've known in my family. And what does that mean?
I was just going to ask.
Yeah. So in my family, I have, there's 12 of us, 12 siblings. And then, of course, then there's my parents and then my grandparents that I knew, both from my mom's side and my dad's side. And no one in our family ever talked about God. And no one in our family ever went to church. I remember only going to church when there was a death in the family or somebody was sick. And when I say sick, that's like later on in life, we went to church because we're going to pray that this person would be healed. So I didn't understand it. And I didn't have a relationship with God. I didn't know God, and I didn't care to know him because I didn't know what it meant. But I want to be known for that. I want to be known that when my day comes, that the most beautiful song will be sung at my funeral, which is Gratitude by, I forgot his name, but he's so good. There you go, yeah. And that when people speak of me, they will say, especially my family, because of her, I got to know God. Because of her, I got to know what it was like to heal. Because of her and what the relationship that she had, even for those who didn't make it, even for those of my family, close relatives that decided this isn't for me, but because of her, I knew what it was to be restored. And even though I don't have that, whatever the relationship will be like at the time, but I know that in my heart, I did. Once I got to know God, last night we were at a conference, Ida, and the speaker said it took her being in her 40s or something. Well, for me, it was almost turning 40 to get to that place. But when I got to that place, almost at 40, I've been serving the Lord now for almost 7 whole years. It's the best thing that I've ever done in my life. It's the best transformation. He has worked on me. He continues to work on me. My mind, the way I think, the way I speak, the way I carry myself is different. And I'm not just saying this because I see it, but I've had family tell me this. You guys have only known me a short while, but the people, y'all wouldn't like the person that I used to be. But the people who do know me, they've made a lot of comments, and that's what I want to be remembered for. That's what I want. That I want them to have that and to say because of her. And I know that when I get there to see my father, to meet him in person, he's going to say that he is proud of me. And I hope that I never get off this journey that I'm on, because I know that I still have a lot of years to go. But I pray that I stay strong in my faith and I stay strong in my relationship with him.
That's good.
That's good. Mine would probably be similar. I think for me, I feel like when my eulogy's read or when I pass away, that people, I want to have the testimony that man knew God. That man knew God firsthand, and that guy loved like I don't know who.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm there. I'm still that work in progress.
Yeah.
But that's the road I'm traveling towards.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, by doing that, you make the most impact in every area of your life without having to worry about the details because you're focused on the big picture.
Right.
And I think, because one of the things that I've kind of noticed a little bit lately because of opportunities that have come up a while back, I think it was, I can't remember how many years ago, but my sister turned around and asked me, hey, because I didn't grow up with her. I met her when I was 18, but my dad passed away in 2005, and she turned around and she goes, would you marry us? And I'm like, I'm not even a pastor. I'm not even, I go to church, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I'm legally able to and all this stuff. She goes, oh yeah, I know that you can, and this and that. And so I looked into it, and I ended up getting the thing that I needed to turn around and marry them. And it was such an honor marrying my younger sister. And I was like, wow. Then, we have a funeral coming up next week, and my nephew turns around and says, "Hey, would you conduct the funeral?" And I'm like, wow, I've never done that. I'll figure it out, and I'm sure God will help me, and it'll be a good thing. And on the way up to San Francisco a couple weeks ago, my other brother asked me, "Hey, Tony, you're licensed to marry, right?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Would you marry me and my girlfriend?"
Oh, nice.
And I was like, wow, sure, I'd be honored to. So I'm just seeing that being able to turn around and be that spiritual person for situations like that, I think is a beautiful thing, opposed to just having some stranger do it.
Right.
Like when me and my wife got married, we were in between churches. We weren't in church during that short season. And I was looking under the yellow pages to find somebody to marry us. And it was a sad thing because I knew pastors. But because, we started shacking up and we weren't doing things the proper way. Yeah, because we did that, we were asked not to go to be a part of the church no more. And so we were out of church for a while, and it hurt me because I had people I was going to church with that, man, they were like brothers, sisters. There was a lady there, Dolores, that was like a spiritual mom to us and guided us and all that. And to get married and not have those people there hurt.
Yeah.
And then we were both on unemployment at the time because we wanted to just make things right. And we ended up going and getting married at a free venue on the corner of the library.
At a public library.
Yeah, right there on the corner. Cars driving by, honking.
In front of a fountain that doesn't work.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So I know I kind of went off topic, but I think it's important to turn around and make sure that we're making the right choices, doing the right things, because at the end of the day, that's what I would like to be known for.
Right.
Somebody that knew God, that if I didn't know what to do, if I'm struggling, a family member, a friend, my kids, and they don't know what to do, that I would be that person that could give sound counsel because I know God. I won't tell them what they want to hear, but what they need to hear.
What they need to hear. That's so good.
Well, I'm going to take a little bit of Mary's, and I'm going to take some of yours. And I'm not going to run on that topic about being remembered for loving God. But I think for me, second to that, I would say what my family and my kids think of me. I want to be remembered as a good mom. And hope, good wife. Hopefully you have some good things to say about me. But I think more than anything,
She said, hopefully.
I think more than anything is just, knowing that I did 110% with my kids, despite I wasn't perfect, but I want to be remembered, and I guess I would love, good things said.
And she's looking at her kids.
Yeah.
Hello.
So start writing.
No, but I haven't really given it much thought, to be honest with you, because I figured, when I die, and I'm not gonna. I don't want a service. I just what? At first, I wanted to be buried, but I know a burial would require a service, so just burn me up, cremate me, and put me in whatever container, because you're gonna throw me somewhere anyways. So don't waste your money there.
Just let me go,
And just let me go, because to be honest with you, I'm going to see you once again in eternity. So to me, it doesn't really, I never really given it much thought. When I was younger, I always dreamed of, because all I thought about is I'm going to die. But I thought, oh, you know what? I want, like the Cinderella carriage kind of.
Oh, look at you.
With the white horses taking my coffin. Like,
Yeah.
the funerals that you see, like in great
Fairy tales.
Like Queen Elizabeth, her funeral.
Queen.
No, when I was younger, I would imagine like this is the kind of funeral I want, But to be honest with you, to me, it's not important to me. That honestly is not important to me, because honestly, I see death as a part of life.
Is not important to you.
Yeah.
That and what it entails.
No,
That's not it.
no.
But it is important to you what people will think, what you leave behind.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
The legacy you leave behind.
that's more what
And
the question
but
is.
to me, it's like, death is just a part of life.
Exactly.
But you're going to be able to, I'm going to be able to see my family again,
Right.
God willing. Yeah.
Actually, let's shift gears, because it's something you just mentioned. Okay, I know I did this right now in my response. I think you did, Mary, and you did a little bit, Ida. Okay, in general, we said what we want to be remembered for. But now let me shift gears and ask you, Mary, and we could go around. But what do you want your husband to remember you for?
That I was a really good wife. He better say no.
We'll save this episode.
I want him to remember me for the tenacity to change, that I never give up. And I know that that's what my husband will say. My husband has actually bought a sign, and I love this because it was also but it says, she believed she could, so she did. So he says, anything that she puts her mind to, I know it's going to happen. So I believe that he thinks that of me, like Mary can make it happen. Like she's going to figure out a way. She doesn't give up. So I think it's that not giving up spirit that I carry. And I don't know why I have it, but I love it because I would have given up a long time ago. But I think it would be that I didn't give up. And I also believe that he would say how she loved her kids. We had a conversation one time, and he said, you just really, really go out of your way to care for them. And sometimes you just have to let them go. And my kids were older at the time. They were getting older. And I said, I don't know how to do that because I didn't. Now I'm like, just go and live your lives. But at the time, I didn't know how to let go. I felt like I always had to protect and shelter. And I think that's what he'll say. I believe that's what he will remember me for. As his wife, he would say she never gave up, and the way that she loved her kids. But also, Ida, really quickly, I don't think I would have been able, I don't think my kids would say nice things had I not met God and been transformed, because I was a really mean person. I was just very hurt. So, and that's what I gave them. Although I love them, but I think that the hurt overwhelmed the love that I was able to show them.
Okay. Actually, let me excavate a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go a little deeper, because I know you answered the question, but I'm kind of going to poke a little bit.
Okay, go for
but
it.
on purpose, because I think all of us probably should do this. But what would he say in regard to you and him? Not about others.
Okay.
See, there's a difference between not giving up. That's a good thing, and it could apply to marriage, parenting, and everything else. And then that you were good, you were sacrificial and gave to your kids. But now, just regarding your relationship, what would he say?
So
more specific. Yeah.
He would say she didn't give up on the marriage because he wasn't the ideal husband when I met him. And I know that we didn't know God, both of us, but he wasn't the ideal husband. He just represented someone that I feel could take care of me if somebody wanted to hurt me, because he was big and had big muscles and whatnot. And he knows this. But it was the fact that I didn't give up on our marriage because he was always so ready to give up because he didn't like fighting. And the fact that I kept not reeling him back like a fishing rod, but the fact that I would not give up on the marriage because I have two children. I have kids in a separate marriage. So I was never married, but to that man, but I have children outside our marriage. So I didn't want that to happen again. And we move life having either the children not to have their father and the other children not to have, the stepfather that they've known most of their life. So I would not give up on that because I wanted our marriage to be strong and for them to see it as, people can make it. And in our marriage, it would be that he would say, you know what, she never gave up and she tried to change. Obviously, she changed herself in order for me to change as well. That's what I think he would say. That's how he would remember me.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll answer that, and then I'll have my wife answer it. The reason why I was kind of poking, because I feel that it's easy for us to say the general things which we're pursuing. It's easy to say, I don't know, different circles of our influence, but I think our marriage should be something that we kind of strive at leaving a testimony or a legacy as well. And like for me, I would, when my time comes, my goal, I would hope that my wife would turn around and see that, hey, we started rough. Like I was saying, we got married in the corner on unemployment. Our first car was 210 speeds. And we went through this journey. We had ups. We had a lot of downs. I failed her many times where it should have ended. But he fought back. Similar to what you said, he fought and he chased and he captured my heart again. Yep. And it ended up beautiful. that it's not how you start, but how you finish.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the things that I would love for her to be able to say wholeheartedly.
She's taking notes.
I hope so. Yeah, you could save this episode. That's what I would love to be able to have her say as a testament of our love.
Right. That was great. It didn't start off great, but it ended so much greater than you would have ever imagined. I love that, Tony.
Yeah.
That's really good. Ida, your turn.
I would agree like with what you were saying too, but I think with me, I would want you to remember me as being a wife that fought. I know that maybe no. I'm
Amen.
saying
I mean,
fought, you know, and fought for our marriage, you know, spiritually, that I was a woman of prayer, and that I you know, that I didn't give up, you know, when I should have given up, you know, and I could have given up, but I didn't. I stuck it out, and I allowed God to help me through it all, you know. I just and I know we've had moments where I wanted to throw the towel in and stuff like that, but I think if you look at the whole picture, like in the 30 years, I would say that I didn't give up. I never gave up. And I trusted God. I don't know.
I'm just wondering if there's more. I know I'm going to poke at you a little bit as
go
well.
ahead.
No, I'm
go ahead.
poking at you a little bit, but because a lot of people can get to at the end of their marriage and the end of their life and say, hey, I didn't give up. But is there more than that? Is there a positive attribute that you can add to that is what I'm looking for. Not so much that, hey, I tolerated you. And because that's kind of what it could sound like. Is there any positive things that you'd really want added to what you said? I'm not taking away what you said, but I'm just saying, is there any positive things that you could add as well as, hey, you know, I stuck it out. And I'm not belittling that, but I'm trying to just dig a little deeper.
Like other than sticking it out, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think from the very beginning when we first met, God actually showed me like a glimpse of his future. Like I saw, I'll get emotional when I talk about it, but God showed me, how do you say it? Oh my goodness. God showed me a glimpse of who he was, his future, and who he was called to be and his purpose. And that was something that I fell in love with, because even though I didn't know him, it's like almost like God showed me that little picture that I was like, wow, God, you know? So despite everything we went through, I wasn't focused on
the issues
at hand. I was focused on, this needs to happen. This needs to be fulfilled. You know, this is what God showed me. And that's been my fight, my battle against the enemy and everything that's been thrown at our marriage, because it's always been to keep him from stepping, of course, us, our family, but it's always been to keep him from not fulfilling his purpose and his call. So I want to say my battle and my fight was for him, for his purpose.
Right.
And that's something I still keep fighting for.
Is that a lot to carry, Ida? I know this isn't therapy, but would that be, that's somebody else's
it's not
life
meant
that
for
you're,
me to carry.
Right.
It's meant for me to intercede and to pray for.
Right.
And there was seasons where I was praying, and then there were seasons I wouldn't pray because of, you know, I got to the point where I started allowing compromise, because there was years where I didn't allow compromise in my home and compromise in my faith. Nothing like that. You know, I didn't, and I fought, and I saw God move in him. And it, right away, it wasn't something that I had to wait for. It was something like God would just respond, you know, and things that he probably doesn't even know that I had prayed for in less than a week. God would follow through with my prayer. And, you know, he would do what I prayed for. And I wouldn't say nothing. It just it was between just me and God. But it's something that it wasn't meant for me to carry, but God carried me through it and helped me to do it, you know what I mean?
Right.
But at times, yeah, it does feel like it's a lot.
Right. So this is what I heard. I heard the question that you asked her, Tony, and I think that she still didn't answer you. But this is what I heard. She kind of told you what she felt, but she didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. A long time ago, I would take clients to therapists. Actually, he was a psychiatrist. And he said, Mary, I heard you're going to school. And I said, yes, I just can't wait to get it over with. And he said, Mary, don't jump to see the progress. Enjoy the journey on the way. He said, there'll be a lot of ups and downs. He said, but don't forget to pick up every nugget, good or bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so stupid. I just want to get the diploma and walk away. But as I was going through the journey, I was picking up what he said, the nuggets. Don't forget the good, don't forget the bad, and don't forget what made me grow. So I think that's what he's asking, Ida. So there was bad, and there was seasons where you were just like you said, just putting up with it. But where was the good? What was the good? Was it the provider? Was it the father?
Oh, no.
Was it what was
Okay.
it? Was it those little things that he did that you didn't expect?
Well, I wasn't really paying attention because I guess I was answering it. To answer that, yes, there was a lot of good.
Right.
You know, I can't say it was all negative and all horrible because it wasn't. He's encouraged me and built me up, and he has spoken to my life, my spiritual walk with God. Honestly, I've learned so much from him.
Right.
He's got so much knowledge and just so much inside of him, and he shares that with me.
He builds
me with that. Even though, despite we go through stuff, when we do sit down and we have our conversations, the stuff that he says, it builds me up. It encourages me. He's an amazing provider. You know, he's a good father. He's let's see, what else can I say? Just even like the pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many little things, a lot of little things, you know, that to me outweigh everything, all the negatives, because even the pictures, you know, I look back at every time we would go traveling, you know, I'm not a camera person. I've never been a camera person. My family never really took pictures. You know, I don't have a whole lot of pictures, but him, it's like, okay, let's come on. We're going to take a picture. We're going to take a video. Like we were watching a video of taking videos.
Oh, yeah.
We were looking for video footage for my brother-in-law, but I was like, oh my gosh, this person with the camera, you know?
Yeah.
But looking back, it's like, I'm so grateful for that he is like that, you know?
So he's very involved and connects and wants the family to prosper. And yeah. Because I see that. I don't know the Tony that you talk about, but I see a Tony that wants his family to be built up and wants to represent them well, but wants family. Like he's very involved in family, and let's figure out how we're going to keep this together, and good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to figure out, and we're going to rise up as one.
Yes.
So
yes. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, too, just to sum up what you're saying, Mom, it almost seems like you want to be remembered as a wife who believed and loved her husband all the way to his purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Good, yeah. Can you write that down for my
Can you text her that?
It's being recorded. It's being recorded.
Let's re-record the episode.
But I just wanted to reiterate what you're saying, because that's one thing my dad, you're known for, is pictures and videos. And as a kid, I hated it. I was like, oh my God, another photo of everything. But then now that I'm older, I'm like so grateful, and I want to make sure I keep doing that. I take videos and pictures of everything and everyone. But it's because on that day when, like, let's just say the funeral, Mom, we're going to give you a funeral. I have so many videos and pictures. And I feel like that's what keeps, like, the beautiful memories alive.
He's like, what did I walk into?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most
take
people have a
videos.
slideshow. She's going to have a full-blown movie.
But I just want
IMAX.
But I just want to encourage people, like, take video, take pictures, not just on, like, the big occasions, but on everyday moments.
The small moments.
Because you're never going to regret taking those pictures.
Right.
You're always going to look back, and it's going to bring a smile or a tear to you. You know?
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And one other thing, if you're listening, maybe you haven't put thought on how you want to be remembered, how you live your life, the choices you make, what you involve yourself in. Consider that. Consider what, not that you're trying to please people at all, but what do you want the testimony of your life to look like when you expire, when you pass away? What do you want? What emotions do you want to come out of people? when they see, wow, so and so passed away. When you pass away, what emotions are going to come up? Are they going to be tears of joy and laughter because you brought so much life to them, or is it going to just be a depressing moment because, you know, wow, now things are a little bit better because now this person passed on.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's sad to say, but I've seen this firsthand that, you know, it's a gloomy funeral when people can't rejoice in the life you lived.
Right.
And it's not too late no matter what age you are.
Exactly.
Even if you're older and you look back and say, well, I ain't got no good memories. You know, they're probably just going to do this and do that. But honestly, it's not too late. I mean, one day could make a huge difference.
A world of difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yes. How much time do we have left?
We're at almost 30.
Okay, because I wanted to. You said something in the beginning, Ida, and it's also about life and the end of life. But something that one of the pastors from Omaha came down and he said that, or either I heard it up there. For the Hispanic families, if you're listening, get life insurance. Like, get life insurance. And the reason that I say this is because it's so important that we don't think about that time. And nobody likes to think, like, this is not a topic that I would have ever talked about probably last year or before because it's scary and nobody really likes it. But like you said, Ida, one thing we know for sure is that we're all going. Like, we're not here to stay forever. So many people don't make the appropriate plans, and we can bring in, like for the podcast, we can bring in somebody that sells insurance because you need insurance, people, because I would hate, and that's why I have it, my husband has it, is because I would hate to be doing those fundraisers. And it's like, let's figure out how we're going to bury our loved one.
Yeah.
It happens, but if we prepare ahead of time, we would be okay and not have to be worried because what you want, that's the last thing you want to be doing at that time when you're supposed to be remembering your loved one and loving your loved one. Is not the last thing you want to be doing is like, how are we going to pay? And we become angry. I don't know. I buried both of my parents and I remember sitting there like, why didn't they think of this? Like, why didn't they do anything? And it was like, instead of loving and sitting there, we're trying to gather how we're going to be able to say, lay him down to rest in a good way.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that out there because what the pastor said, that Hispanic families, Mexican families never prepare. I know we're always late for everything, but come on, let's go out there and get let's go out there and get insurance because it is important.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I just wanted to share this with you guys. And funerals don't always have to be sad. When my mom passed away, it was one of the hardest things we went through, me as a family. And my sisters and I were all sitting in a pew. We were at church. That was one of the first times I ever went to church. We were sitting at the pews, and the pastor said this. He said, who will be, as he's doing his speech or whatever, he said, who will be next? Who will be next? And, my sisters and I had been kneeling and we're crying. And as he's saying this, he's asking this, I hit my sister on the side and I said, oh my God, is he asking for volunteers? And my sister starts laughing. The sister beside her there's 7 sisters sitting on that pew. And then we're all laughing. And we have the one sister, whispering, shut up, you idiots. This is it's mommy's funeral. Wow. But we were all laughing because the pastor said, who will be next? And of course, Mary hits the other sister, said, is he asking for a volunteer? So she starts laughing and tells the other sister the same thing. So anyway, God knows how to put peace in our hearts when we need it. And we rise to that occasion because we have his love, even like we mentioned in the previous podcast, even when we don't know him, he knows us.
So good.
So in wrapping up, guys, what do you want to be remembered for? It, like Ida said, it's never too late. Let's be that change today that we want to be remembered for.
Yes.
If you're not living that life, let's start to walk it out. And don't have somebody remember you by what you said. Oh, I loved everybody, but by your actions, that you really stood up and you really rose up to the occasion and you were this individual that you're remembered by your actions. Not just because you said a good speech one day, but because you walked out that speech.
Right.
So good.
So thank you so much for tuning in and we
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see you guys again.